Brother, this show going to be international chess game, so really doesn't matter. And all I hear about is build a wall. We're gonna build a wall. Well, how about building a fucking gym where the dumbbells go for 400 pounds and the last pull-down stack doesn't stop at 280? And fucking little juice bar, how about building a full-fledged food court so I can get a pepperoni sandwich post-workout?
If there was a video accurately depicting 2020, that would be it. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Okadowski of WeAreChange.org. A lot to get into today, especially with the election 2020 nonsense that sure is raging into another massive civil unrest moment coming our way in just a few days, all as a byproduct of the massive disinformation propaganda campaign out there that has hoodwinked a section of the United States population to want more government and then to be angry at it. All, of course, while calling to end free speech and implicate, quote, trigger warnings with trying to limit one of the most sacred, important human rights on the face of this earth. Free speech. And that's why we're going to be predominantly focusing on the latest turn of events between some New York City hipster Starbucks drinking yuppies versus, of course, Joe Rogan, which would be the main focus of this video. But before we get into that, this video, and, any other form of useful information that goes up against the status quo is predominantly shadow banned, censored, and of course also 100% demonetized like this channel. And because of the massive wave of censorship of speech, we have started a store where you could express yourself in ways that still cannot be censored. We have a lot of shirts that definitely grabs people's attention, like our factual t-shirt here about Mr. Gates. Of course, we have a little bit more facetious one as well. But also, this is a great way to also meet a lot of like-minded individuals in your local town. Yesterday, after shooting my video, I was wearing this shirt that says, "If you trust your government, you don't know history." And in a supermarket, I literally had four people come up to me saying that they either love the shirt, that they can't believe what's going on with the government, that they're happy other people are waking up, and also, where can I get one? You could get that shirt and many other shirts all on our official store, which is linked in the description and also in the comment section. We got hats, phone cases, we're making bikinis too, so stay tuned for those as well. And of course, your purchases go towards sustaining this independent media operation. Now, I think it's fair to say that this election has definitely been a little bit tumultuous. Did I say that right? Yes, I did. It's tumultuous. It's pretty chaotic, and it's only going to get more chaotic from here. Especially the latest information we are getting right now from the government's top secret agency, which is known for overthrowing democratically elected leaders and rigging elections all over the world, the CIA, that just came out today. Oh yeah, they're also known for torturing a whole bunch of individuals, a large sum of human rights violations, and supporting death squads. Sorry, I just forgot that antidote. The CIA today, according to themselves, and absolutely no evidence at all, nothing provided to the American public, just their own words from an organization that is known to lie. The CIA, I'm sorry, I can't stop myself. The CIA today found that Russian President Vladimir Putin is, quote, probably directing a campaign against Joe Biden. Nope, we're not joking here. In the vaguest language from the most untrustworthy government organization out there, we have a loosely worded report by an anonymous CIA spook saying that Vladimir Putin is behind a disinformation campaign meddling in our 2020 elections. That kind of seems like a disinformation campaign in itself. And this is seriously like 2016 all over again, rinse and repeat, copy, paste. And again, I don't have to keep telling you this, but unless there's actually some real solid evidence, there's absolutely no reason you should believe a government agency that is known for lying. Now, one of the reasons why this election will get more crazy is because of a new Supreme Court selection, which now most Republicans in the Senate say that they are behind, including Black Lives Matter supporting Mitt Romney, who just vowed that he would back the U.S. president on his nomination, which essentially means that Donald Trump most likely will be able to move forward with his pick. Even though we have a lot of threat of violence and escalation of the already turbulent situation by many left-wing Democrats and, quote, liberals, who are even Karens like this, are literally saying that they're going to be on the front lines of the Civil War if this goes through. It is going through. There will be a reaction because of this, and all the stops put out, since of course power is the ultimate aphrodisiac to these soulless, self-righteous, self-censored egomaniacs who only care about winning, rather than, of course, everything else, including human life. And we're seeing all the stops being put out by many individuals in this election, including Michael Bloomberg, that literally has chosen to pay the fines of over 32,000 felons in Florida so they could vote. Yes, Bloomberg spent literally $16 million paying off convicted felons in Florida so they could register to vote. Since, of course, the state of Florida has a law where felons have to pay off any fines, fee, or restitutions for their crime in order to be allowed to vote. If they didn't pay off those particular fines, they can't vote. But now the bigger question arises, will these people actually vote? And on its face value, this action has a lot of kind of social commentary since, of course, Michael Bloomberg is supporting Joe Biden. I mean, that's very clear. Why is Michael Bloomberg spending his money? And with this move, Bloomberg is assuming that only criminals are going to vote for Joe Biden. Essentially, this is what this larger move means. And hey, I'm not saying it. Michael Bloomberg's saying it with his actions. Also, with the ramping up of violence all across this nation, in Florida, there's a new proposal for a law where drivers would not be responsible for injuring or even killing a person if they are, quote, fleeing from a mob. This new proposal will also make blocking traffic and damaging property while protesting a felony in the state of Florida. And this should only tell you how crazy our timeline has become. In California, the government is making it a, quote, misdemeanor to spread misinformation about voting. And in Pennsylvania, an obscure law could result in hundreds of thousands of mail-in ballots being thrown out without even being counted. And with any crisis, with any existential threat, with any possibility of unrest, the government is using this as a situation to take advantage of it for a massive power grab, which they literally have some people tricked, manipulated to believe that actually more government and less rights for the people are going to be good for them. That's literally what some people are arguing for. And that is a government, a secret intelligence agency, the CIA's wet dream to have this kind of populace that essentially is calling for its own enslavement. And I think this is perfectly exemplified by this recent struggle between Spotify and Joe Rogan, as a group of staffers in New York City of Spotify are now pushing a list of demands on their company, which would make their new episodes with Joe Rogan be edited with oversight by them and their minions. There would be editing of his episodes before they would go live. They want content flags, trigger warnings, and references to fact-checked information, most likely Snopes or some other nonsense. And this group of employees in New York City want to have the right to refuse to even publish episodes. And the library account on Twitter definitely had a great characterization of this, saying, quote, imagine if restaurants just completely ignored your order and instead fed you what they thought you should be eating. Now, of course, all of this is on the heels of Joe Rogan starting his kind of exclusive partnership with Spotify that already is coming to a very rocky start. There was a large number of his controversial episodes missing from his new Spotify archive. Alex Jones even came out during the initial reports of this and said that this was just a transferring error, that it takes a while to transfer over thousands of episodes, that there was no censorship. But now it looks like some Spotify employees within the company just decided to take the situation into their own hands and to censor Joe Rogan. This is, of course, something that Joe Rogan was promising won't happen to him, and it did. And again, this is just an insane way of thinking that perfectly goes into a bigger power play that only benefits the government. If you don't want to watch Joe Rogan, then just don't watch him. What is so hard to comprehend and difficult for people to understand that, hey, the best way to defeat speech that you don't like is with your own speech. The best way to counter speech that you think is bad speech is to counter it with more speech, not with totalitarian overlord government censorship boards that literally delete information from even being able to be heard. And now, of course, the Spotify employees tried to make a huge deal out of this. A lot of the mainstream media trash rags like Vice thought destroying the First Amendment was a great idea, but luckily there was a major victory in this very important battle with the Spotify CEO literally standing up and telling these almost perfect CIA government-loving lemmings, no. And thank goodness he did this, since so many companies have caved to the demands of irrational people that have the intelligence of toddlers. And then, of course, Vice being Vice, as disingenuous as they could be, their headline surrounding this very important event was that, quote, the CEO is, quote, defending keeping transphobic content from hugely popular podcaster Joe Rogan on the audio. Again, this is so disingenuous, so misleading, so manipulative of people's emotions, and I'm sick of it. We're smarter than that. You can't just irrationally scream, moan, bitch, and cry and expect people to always yield, especially when you're a disingenuous liar. So, at least we have some good news. Prepare for some craziness during the election. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, share it with your friends and family members. Literally, one of the few things that literally keep me going and still here is you sharing valuable information to the other people, the other lemmings, the other general public, to get a dose of another perspective, another kind of reality that they, of course, are denied. There's a large, massive efforts to deny people information. The only thing combating that is you, directly yourself, clicking share, clicking copy, clicking paste, getting content out there that, of course, very powerful people don't want out there. And because you do, this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.